Well, we are on the hour, folks. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure there's going to be a few people that will still jump on. I did want to ask you real quickly if you guys would weigh in on the chat box. If, in fact, you do see the screen that says the basics of SEO, if you could just let me know real quick, I would appreciate that. So, um, but let me go ahead while I'm waiting for your answers. I will go ahead and get started with this. First of all, the thing that I wanted to tell you guys is that, well, let me go ahead and do my little introduction, if you will. But most of you have heard from me before, but I am your internet marketing coach for Cindy Bishop Worldwide. My name is Dave Redabaugh. I have a business called Your Biz Social. It's an internet marketing company, and have been doing seminars and training classes and all of these for these types of things for Cindy Bishop Worldwide for the last 5 years now. So it's been a great relationship, and we've been able to have some fun and do some really good things for a lot of the agents out there. This is a great topic, you guys. I love talking about search engine optimization. The thing that I wanted to warn you about, if I get into some of the language that that might escape you and is something maybe you haven't heard before, please use the chat box to slow me down. I really did want to make sure that I made this something that's clear and concise and easy to follow. But I will also tell you that a lot of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you this morning in this webinar are going to be things that you're going to want to refer back to. So I would make sure that you utilize your access to the Cindy Bishop Training Agent Education Center, so that you can actually review this, take a look at it, make sure that you understand the different concepts, and you can get a chance to review some of the tools and concepts that we're going to be talking about. By the way, I should tell you, I should be wearing my face mask. I'm sorry, but I did wash my hands several times today already, and so I'm all disinfected really well. So I am practicing safe webinaring. Okay, so good to go. Let's move on. Here's what we're going to be talking about today, you guys, is, and again, this is the basics, but what is SEO, search engine optimization, why it's important, okay? Why it's important, especially to real estate agents with your business. Where to start, where are the places that you need to start taking a look at and saying, okay, how am I optimized for the search engines so that the web pages that I'm associated with are going to be seen, and so that they're visible, so that people can find you and find those pages when they need to. The next thing is, what steps can you take, and what tools are available to improve and maintain your search engine optimization. The next one is what pages need search engine optimization. That's kind of a critical one, you guys, because the reality is you have more than just your u.com website. You have a number of, and I hope you at least have that, the u.com, your particular business. If you could give me a quick hands up, yes, I do. If you could just give me a quick weigh in, yes, you have a website that is your own, I would appreciate that. But besides your own website, you guys, you also need to make sure that you recognize the fact that you have web pages like Google My Business, like your profile on realtor.com and zillow.com, and plus you have your Facebook business page. You have all of these different pages that literally each one of those has its own optimization tools that you need to be paying attention to and know how to utilize those things. So that's why I want to kind of go in and kind of help lay the groundwork for some of the things that you could be doing, and then how to utilize that information to make sure that all of these places are communicating exactly what you want them to communicate to, this is the key part, the people that you want to be communicating to. Okay, so, and then the last part is where to get help if you need it. All right, so let's move on. First one that we are going to address here is, what is SEO? What is search engine optimization? And these are the definitions right out of Wikipedia. Okay, so the process, it's number one, the process of increasing the quality and the quantity, how good it is, how many, of the website traffic by increasing the visibility of a website or a web page to users of a web search engine. So when people are searching, if they're going on, they're jumping on Google, they're jumping on Facebook, they're jumping on whatever they're going to be jumping on. Are you available? Are you helping them solve that problem, whatever that is? So anyway, those are real quick definitions, you guys. But this is the thing, again, I want you to consider for a moment is those other web pages that you have. And the ones that you probably need to. So one of the things that I've suggested before, if you've been on the presentations that I've done about your internet profile, you probably know this, but and you've done it, and hopefully this is a good opportunity to do it again. But do a Google search for you, considering the fact that people are going to be looking for you if they've been recommended to you, if you've been referred. If they were looking for you on Google, what would they type in and what would they find? Okay, so those are important. And then take a real hard look at what those results show as far as what you have available, what's showing up about you on when people do that search. Okay, because again, to me, the most important search that you need to be found for is the people that are looking specifically for you. That's the warmest lead that you're going to get, is those referrals. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about why search engine optimization is important for real estate agents. Okay, number one, 93%, and these are statistics right out of the National Association of Realtors. Okay, 93% of home buyers rely on the internet. Hold on a sec here. I've got a couple more people jumping on, you guys. Hold on 1 minute. Make sure they're able to jump on. There we go. Good. Welcome. So 93% of home buyers rely on the internet as a primary research source. I'm sure none of that surprises you at all. Okay. The other one, though, is that 44% actually the first thing they do is they go online. Okay. So they're gonna go searching online for whatever it is. Homes in Manassas, homes for sale, whatever real estate in Centerville, whatever the terms are that they're going to be using, that's what they're going to be doing. So the other thing is if your web pages cannot reach your audience and motivate them to use you for real estate, then your chances for long-term success are diminished. The other thing that was interesting, you guys, is as I was doing some of the research, and I always try to do up-to-date research every time I do one of these webinars. So I was spending my time yesterday doing some of the research to make sure that all these things, that what I was giving you guys were accurate and up-to-date statistics. One of the ones that I saw was the fact that they say that on average, 30% of a real estate agent's business comes directly from referrals, recommendations, and and people that they've worked with in the past. Okay, so that means you're relying, when you're looking at search engine optimization, making sure that you and your real estate business are going to be found online. They're literally kind of putting and not that that's the only resource that people have is the internet, but it's certainly, like we said, it's one of the largest ones. So consider the fact that the other 70% of your business is going to come from people who have to find you. Okay. So, and we know based on our own habits that that's probably where they're going to be going, is on the internet. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on. Here's where to start. The first thing that you want to do is what I call a SEO audit. Okay, kind of taking a look at some of the basics. Okay, and we're gonna get into what those are here in a second. But that would be things like the structure of your website. Does it have a site map? Okay, that's maybe a term you're not real familiar with. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Okay, and the other thing is you don't have a lot of what they call redirects. Redirects, you guys probably maybe not familiar with that term, but let me go ahead and describe it, and I know you've seen them before. You go to a specific page on a website, and all it says is this page doesn't exist, or, and it has, normally it's a 404 error, okay, or a 303. Those are the two different numbers that normally come up, but it's an error message that's given that says this page doesn't exist, okay? That's a redirect. So when someone's looking for something, they click on it and it's being redirected to a page that doesn't have any information on it. Okay, so those are bad. You don't want redirects. All right, next one, page structure. How the page is actually built. Okay, things like the URL. And hopefully you know what a URL is. If you don't, literally the URL is that tag. My business is your biz social. So my URL is www.yourbizsocial.com. Okay, so that's a key part, you guys. You want to make sure that they're concise, that they're short, that they're easy to remember. Okay, so those are some of the things that you want to be looking at, and that they a lot of times, if they have something to do with what people might be looking for. When you consider the fact that a real estate agent is the product, you guys are the product. You are what separates you from the competition, you know. So a lot of times your URL probably should include your name. And if you can do it with just your name, that's not a bad idea. Okay. So make sure that's available. Make sure you own that URL, because that's something you have to purchase. So the next one is titles. Again, we're going to get into more details about what titles are here in a second, you guys, so you can actually see what I'm talking about. I'm not just going to say it, but I'm going to actually show you some examples. And the other one is meta descriptions. That's another one of those. That's an internet related term, and you may maybe know exactly what I'm talking about, or you may have no clue. I'm going to show you so that we make sure you understand. The next part then is what they call H1 to H6 tags. Again, internet language, website language. Oh my gosh, you guys, sorry. But the bottom line is that every page that you on your website should include, at minimum, an H1 and an H2. And what those are is a way to describe. H1 is a way to say, this is what this page is literally about. Okay. This is what the key part about what the information about what this page is trying to deliver to its customer, or to the people that the viewer, I should say. The H2 then would be like a subtitle, and H3 is, you know, again, they go down from there. But the one thing that I've found that a lot of times is missing is H1s. And that's really the most important one. You know, you go to a web page and it doesn't have an H1. Oh my gosh, we've got a problem here. But again, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And the other one is what they call alt tags. And again, website term, literally what an alt tag is, you guys, is the name that you've given a picture. Okay. And if the name of that picture came right out of your phone, then literally probably what it is a string of between, you know, 7 and as many as 21 different characters that have nothing to do with anything, and then it says .jpeg. So it's meaningless. What you want to do is make sure that your pictures that you're using on the internet are tagged, that they have a name to them. This is, you know, not that it has to say this is, but, you know, Dave Redabaugh selling a home. Dave Redabaugh, real estate agent in Manassas, Virginia. You know, whatever that might be, you know, a home in Manassas, Virginia. Yeah, that type of stuff. So you want to make sure that you give good titles that have to do with things that people could likely be searching for. Okay, so that's where this stuff gets, it takes some time to make sure that you're doing these things right. Okay, so that's what an alt tag is. Next is content, the actual information that shows up on the page. Now, this talks about keyword and link placement, structure, visual elements, duplicates, all this kind of stuff. We're not going to go into all the little details on all that stuff, you guys, but here's what I would tell you. The two most important things about what a web page communicates. Number one, does it relate to what the title of it is, which is going to be, again, when I talked about the H1, what's the most important part about what the information that's being delivered on this page, what is it? Then the second thing is to make sure that the keywords that you want that people to find when they're searching for that are associated with that page, that the way that you write the information on there is something that makes sense and delivers the results based on what people are showed up to look for. Okay, so hopefully I haven't gone too far out into the weeds with this, you guys. But again, like I said, I want to make sure that I show you some examples here in a moment. Okay. Next thing then, here's some more where to start. Links. Okay. Links are very, very important. Links that are outbound, links to other sites, okay? So the other one is links that are coming back into yours. There are ways that you can make sure that you are associated with certain sites. So, for instance, you know, if you have and let me give you a really good example, you guys. If you are on realtor.com, what you're going to do is you're going to set up a profile and you're going to make sure that you have your website and any other sites, any other pages. A lot of times, if I'm not mistaken, I think realtor.com is one of those where it allows you to put in things like, you know, your Facebook page and your Twitter page and whatever other social media pages that you might have, all of those types of things. So anyway, those are what would be inbound links. Okay, so you're able to take realtor.com, take those sites that are associated with you, plug them into your profile that exists on realtor.com, and link back to those pages of yours that are important. Okay, so those are pages, those are links that are coming back into. The other one is the other outbound ones would be ones that are going from your page out. So, you know, to let people know from your web page that you have a Facebook business page, that you have Google My Business, that you have Instagram. So you can then associate, go back out to these other places again that are driving traffic back and forth. So that's one of the things that makes, you know, what's happening on the internet valuable to the people that are searching. And more importantly, that's the stuff that Google's looking for. Google bases what shows up in the way that they rank things. When someone does a search for something, they're searching for something like Manassas, you know, homes for sale in Manassas. Just use that as a term. Anyway, so they do that search. What shows up on the page is what's called the search engine result page, and it ranks them. And the way that it ranks them is, number one, how relevant is the website that is being given on that search result page? How relevant is it to what the person was looking for? The exact term that they were looking for, okay? So that's why keywords are important, right? The other part then is not only how relevant it is, but how authoritative it is. And authority is given probably a better term, really. That's the term Google uses. A better term is how popular. So in other words, when you have lots of links that are coming into your page from other places like realtor.com, from Facebook, from Twitter, from Instagram, from Google, from other, you know, Google My Business, from other places like that, from YouTube. Okay, let's not forget that one. That's really important. But all of those other places, then literally what it says, Google says, oh, okay, well, this web page that is answering this question, it has some relevancy. And it's also very authoritative because it's got some, you know, it's got some people that like it, that are linked to it, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So hopefully that's making some sense, you guys. But again, we're just talking about basics here. The next one is the usability, you know, and we're going to go in and I'm going to actually give you some tools so you can check, is your website mobile friendly? All right. The other one is how fast is it? Okay. That's one of the things, and most people have found this, is that if you start to, and some of you probably experience this yourself, where you click on a link and all of a sudden it just seems like it's taken forever for that web page to show up, and you just go, forget it, you know, or it starts to open and pictures are taking a long time to load and information's taken, you know, we've become very, very impatient. In fact, it's scary when you consider the actual statistic, you know, that Google uses. And I think it's something like, you know, if a page doesn't load up in less than 3 seconds, people are likely going to bounce out. They're going to jump off. Okay. So site speed becomes very important. And there's ways that you can improve that. There's things that you need to make sure that you're paying attention to on your website. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to, so what are the steps that you can take? Number one is, do you have a site map? And what a site map is, let's go ahead and describe that. A site map is literally a map or a description of what the entire website is all about. Not a web page, but the whole entire website. So in other words, it describes, here's all the different pages that are associated with this particular website. Okay, all of the pages, what's on it, what's in there, you know. So it literally kind of gives a list. It's like a table of contents is the best way to describe it, you guys. That's probably, it really is. That's what a sitemap is a table of contents of what's on your website. So I am going to do a switch on the sharing here real quickly, so that I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and do this. Gonna go over here, go to this. And we're gonna go to here. All right, so let me show you this then. This is my website. Let me get these pieces out of the way here for Your Biz Social, okay? So this shows you what it actually, what shows up when people come to it, okay? So the sitemap, and here's how you find out whether or not you have a sitemap. You want to go to one spot on the website where you're looking and right click your mouse, okay? And if you look at that menu that shows up, you want to scroll down to, now remember, this is something, this isn't in the notes, you guys, so this is something you're going to want to hear this on the training of the video that gets posted up on Cindy Bishop's site. But you go to what's called the view page source, okay? And that's going to open this whole menagerie of what they call, you know, this is JavaScript. This is the language of building a website. Kind of scary, isn't it? Yuck. Okay, so, but here's what I wanted to show you. If you want to find out anything that exists on a website that you're not sure about, if you want to find out does it have Google Analytics? Does it have a sitemap? Does it have H1 or H2 tags? And are they appropriate? You can go to here. Now, you've figured out where you go to view the page source. Now, the next one I'm going to show you is on a PC. You use Control, CTRL, Control F, and you see this little screen shows up, right? If you're using a Mac, you use Command F, okay? They both will open up this little screen. What it's saying is, I want to find out if there's anything on this page that has to do with this term. So it's like a search engine, if you will, for what's on a page, okay? So you see that I already have that plugged in, so I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that and hit enter. And you can see it takes me directly to where it shows that I have a sitemap, XML, okay? That's basically the term. So it knows that I have a sitemap. Again, the purpose of showing this to you guys is to find out whether or not you have a sitemap on your page, okay? So let me go ahead and switch to sharing again. Gonna have to just take a quick second and move these things over and hit some buttons to do this. Okay, so here we go. Back to the presentation. So that's a sitemap. That's how you find out if you have one. So let's talk about keywords for just a second, okay? Keywords is literally the best way to describe it, you guys, the best way to do the research on that is your ideal audience and what are they looking for, okay? So if you put in a term like real estate, that's way too broad. You know, so you need to be specific about terms that you are associating, not only again with your web page or your website that you have associated with you, but also those other pages that we talked about, Facebook and Google and YouTube and Instagram and all the other places, okay? Zillow, Realtor.com, all those different places. You want to make sure that you are having keywords that are consistent throughout your entire message. So if you are farming for instance, Prince William County, just use that as an example, okay? You want to make sure that every time you plug something in, that you're plugging in keywords into a site on their search engine optimization tools that all these sites have available. You want to make sure that you're plugging in those keywords that are associated with real estate in Prince William County, homes in Real Estate County, real estate agent in Prince William County real estate agent. Those are all specific keywords, okay, that have to do with driving traffic to you, okay? So, and again, that's why I'm saying what's going to drive the keywords that you use to write what goes on your website and on your Facebook business page and all those other places you guys we just talked about is who's your ideal audience and what are they looking for, okay? So Title tags. Let's talk about that real quickly. Title tags. Does it answer and attract? Does every page have its own? So I'm gonna do both title tags and the H1 and the meta descriptions all kind of. I'm gonna switch the sharing again, you guys. Apologize about this little change in the way this works, but okay. So we got you back over there. So let's talk about what a title is. Here's what I did, you guys, is I actually did a search for, you can see here, oh boy, I didn't even spell it right. They still did it right. Examples of meta titles and descriptions. So there you go. So here's what I'm searching for. So this shows results. This is the search engine result page that you're looking at here, okay? And what you're seeing then is this blue spot right here. That is a title, okay? So you can see how important that title is, and it's the first thing that shows up, okay? So does the title, does it answer this question? The question is, I'm wanting to know, what are examples of meta titles and descriptions? And here you go. That's the title. This is the description, this part right here, okay? How to write a great meta description. Stick to your brand, voice, and tone. So in other words, you guys, the description, you want to take some time and really think about describing yes, you are on the right page. If you're looking for, selling your home and you're located in Prince William County, this is the information you need to know about me and why I'm the best choice for you. Okay, that's kind of what you want to do. Now, you don't have a lot of space to do it. So let's talk about what you have available to you here for a quick second. This title that you have should be between, maximum you can put in there is about 60 characters, okay? And the reason I say roughly, I mean, the bottom line is, you guys, is that if you have ones and I's and L's, it's going to take up a lot less space than if you have P's and M's and O's, okay? So, because it really is, it's based on the space that's available. Now, you'll see on this one here, this is truncated. So it's got the little ellipsis at the end, the dot, 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 because it doesn't give you the whole thing right there. So it's best to actually have, if you're going to have a truncated one, if you're going to go over that 60 character limit and it's going to truncate it and put the ellipsis at the end, you want to make sure that whatever you have on the front end of that shows up and that it answers the question. Okay, does that make sense? So in other words, don't answer the question in, characters 60 through 72. Answer it in 1 through 20, right? Make sense? So the next part is the same thing applies to the description. The description can be as long as you want it, but if you make it too long, it's going to get truncated. Google's not going to fit it all in there, okay? So what you want to make sure of is on the very front end of it, that the first 155 to 160 characters, and that includes spaces, answers and attracts the user, okay? So again, we're talking about me. I'm looking for examples of meta titles and descriptions, and this is what I found. These are the ones that, this was the most relevant and authoritative website based on the information that was in there. And part of it, you guys, is doing these titles and descriptions. The reason I'm hampering on these things, or kind of hitting on this, you guys, one of the things that I found, being somebody who does search engine optimization for businesses, I do that for them. I do them for people's sites, and I help them get found. One of the things that I found a lot of times that's missing is some of these basic deals that their titles don't make sense. Their title will say something like home for the home page. That's not giving anybody any information about you, your business, what that web page or website is all about. So you want to make sure that the titles are strong, that they attract, and that they answer first of all, answer the question, second of all, attract. And then the next part is that you want to make sure the descriptions do the same thing, okay? And you're limited on what they can use, because most of you, knowing you're familiar with how Google works, you're going to look through here and you may skip by the first one because it really doesn't answer the question for you, and you find one farther down the list that will tell you, So that's basically it, you guys, when it comes to those two things. The other one, the H1 and H6. Here's the thing that I would tell you. The H1 is normally just this title right here, you guys. This title is the H1. So if we went to that page, what you would find is on the page itself, and that's a tool that exists on the website builder, okay? Which I'm going to talk about that here in a second, you guys, when we go into tools. That's a part. But these H1s, again, it's a headline number one. The number one headline for that page is, what's the title of it? What's that page specifically about? Now, the reason I mention that to you guys, the other thing to keep in mind is that every single separate page that you have needs to have its own headline or H1, okay? So in other words, you have a website, mine, yourbizsocial.com, but on yourbizsocial.com, I have multiple pages, okay? So each page has to stand alone and have its own headline, all right? So far so good, you guys. Do we have any questions? You know, hopefully I haven't gone over people's heads, you know, or maybe hopefully I'm not going too slow, because some of you may be going, wow, man, this is, you know, I know all this already. So, but if you could make sure that if you have questions that you weigh in, you guys, so I can make sure that I address them as we go. The other one then, let's switch back to my presentation. Here we go. So we talked about title tags, meta tags, meta descriptions. We talked about those. We talked about the H1 to the H6. These are prioritized like it says here. And the next one is alt tags. You know, again, this is website terminology, you guys. I don't know where they came up with this language. I don't really care. I just have to learn it myself. So, and you need to somewhat know what these are about, how to associate with it. But anyway, alt tags, okay? Naming your pictures. So again, we talked about that earlier. The picture cannot be some random bunch of characters and numbers and symbols. It needs to be something specific. It needs to tell what that picture is about. And I will tell you, sometimes what I'm finding myself doing is I'm naming these pictures, and sometimes they take a long time to name, because it might be, I'm given a description, okay? But that description is going to include the keywords that I want that picture associated with when someone's looking, because that's going to help all of the other pieces that are going in there. One of the things hopefully you're getting from this, you guys, is to recognize that all of these different pieces, the titles, the descriptions, the content that is actually in the page, the pictures, everything that is on there, you guys, the text, all of that needs to basically tell the exact same story on every single page, that it all is driving to answering the question and attracting attention for the people that are looking, okay? So let's move on here. What tools are available to help you improve and maintain your search engine optimization? This is one I didn't put up here, you guys, but I want to make sure that I do mention it, is to recognize the fact that every single real estate agent that I know, some of you have multiple websites. Most of you have a website that has been, it's part of your association with that brokerage. Okay, so if you work with Remax, you work with Keller Williams, you work with Fairfax Realty, whatever it is, you know, most of those brokerages have websites that are associated with you. And I would say that if you've already had your own website created, congratulations, because that's a good move. And I'll tell you about that here in a second. But the other thing that I wanted to tell you is that you also need to pay attention to, if you've got two of those, then one that the broker has and one that you have, you want to make sure that you're maintaining both of those, because both of those are spaces that are important, you know. And sometimes they optimize the page that they created for you better than you've been able to do your own, so it shows up better when someone's looking for you specifically. And I will tell you, the number of times that I've consulted with real estate agents, you guys, over the past 5 years, and there's been lots and lots of them, and we do think we have these kinds of discussions. One of the things that I found is that a lot of times those other sites that are associated with the broker that they work for, those will have, you know, some good optimization legs, if you will, and show up really well, okay? So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those. Every single one of those has tools available to optimize, to make sure that you can go in on the back side of it, where you have access through your username and password to go into there and look at things like all of the stuff we've been talking about. Things like the title tags and the H1 tags and the alt tags and all of this stuff that's associated with that site is going to have that same kind of information. So you need to make sure that you're able to look. And if you can't find that stuff, I know most of you also probably have somebody within the office that is dedicated to IT related questions or web related questions, anything related to digital stuff. They basically have somebody that's kind of the answer person, or the person that is like the that helps you with that stuff. Okay, sometimes it might be the marketing person that helps with that, but I would make sure that you get friendly with them and find out all of the tools that are available on those sites that you have. The other one then is making sure that if you have two sites, your very own site with your own domain name and all that kind of stuff, make sure you're doing all this stuff with that, because that's really the most important website that you have. It really is. More than Facebook, more than Google, Google My Business, more than all of those things, okay? So let's go back into this, what this slide is saying. Keyword research tools. Here's a couple of them. The Google keyword tool. And again, this is one of those where you want to come back to this, you guys. In fact, if you will, type in your email address in the chat box. I will make sure that I send this directly to you guys so you can get these exact links. I want to make sure that you get this information. So, but anyway, Google keyword tool. There's another one called SEM Rush. Okay, these are all things that you'll just want to Google them when you can find them. A Google search itself. Okay. So when you search for things, you guys, a lot of times when you start typing something into the search box, you will notice that Google starts giving you suggestions, okay? They start giving you suggestions as you start to type letters, and they go, oh, okay, well, maybe you're looking for this, maybe you're looking for this. Pay attention to those. Those are a lot of times some of the best keyword research that you can do, okay? The other thing is at the bottom of every Google search engine result page, we were just looking at that one, down at the bottom, the Google will always have other related searches is what they give the title of it is. So you can literally go in there and they give links to keywords. That's what that is, okay? So that's some of it. And then the other one is there's keywordtool.io and then keywords everywhere. Let me show you a quick tool. I'm going to jump over here again, you guys, just because this is really worth taking a look at. Let's switch this. All right, so we've switched back over to the Google search. There we go. Good. Thank you, Xenia. I appreciate that. Good. So take a look at this, you guys. You look at this stuff over here, related keywords. This is such a powerful thing. And basically this is one of those, as I've done my own research and stuff, I stumbled into this one, you guys. You see this and you go, wow, how do you get that? Well, you need to load it up on your, and here's what it is. It's an extension on Google Chrome. So if you use Chrome, if you don't use Chrome, then, you probably might want to. But this is a great tool for me, you guys. I use this a lot. It literally gives you related keywords. So you saw the title, examples of, this is what I put in, examples of all that stuff. But this is the stuff that related keywords says, well, hey, here's a bunch of other ones. And people also search for, so all of a sudden you have all of this stuff that gives those other things. So anytime this is a good place to do some keyword research, you guys. It really is. I love this tool. So it's just called related keywords is what it is. Keywords everywhere. Okay. So let's see, Dave, for some reason my internet access has been going in and out, so I'm not, okay. Okay, no, that's fine, Bob. I understand, absolutely. And make sure that you get a chance to access this video as well, you guys, because again, because you can review a lot of this information. I know that I'm throwing a bunch of stuff out there. This is one of those you're getting getting a drink from a fire hose. So, but anyway, let me go ahead and switch back over to the presentation. Okay. We are getting to the end of this, so hopefully I haven't, worn you out too much. But again, keyword research tools, there's some of those. Mobile friendly, okay? That's a really key one, you guys. If your site's not mobile friendly, here's the thing. They say that literally it's somewhere around 61% of searches on the internet take place from a phone. And it's constantly going up more and more and more. The better that these phones become, the more data that they're able to handle, the stronger that they are, all of that stuff, you guys, they become so important that that's literally where people are going to search for stuff. Okay, so you need to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. So this is the site that you go to, and it's literally a Google mobile friendly test site. So you can see the URL there, https dot / whatever search.google.com test mobile friendly. Okay, so there's, and the best way to search for this, you guys, is do a Google search for mobile friendly website. Okay, so I'm telling you, actually the best tool you have is Google itself. It really is. So next one, page speed insights. If you want to find out, does your page open too slowly? We talked about that earlier, where people, if it opens, if it takes longer than 3 seconds, they're likely going to bounce out. Well, you need to make sure that it opens quickly. So you can go to this, and what this will tell you is it will gauge the speed of your site, and not only it's not the website, you guys, as much as it is those individual pages. It will show you if you have some broken pieces, some things that are not showing up well, or things that load slow. You can take a look at that. Now, here's the other part that I will tell you that is kind of, and I'm not even going to try to get into it because it's a pretty in-depth discussion, but that's how to improve the speed. One of them is the pictures, because pictures, sometimes we put pictures that are way too big. So you need to make them a little bit smaller. But anyway, I don't want to get too far into that, you guys, because that's could get into the weeds real quick. The next thing then is backlink checker. Okay, again, here's a website so you can check what kind of backlinks do you have that are associated with your website. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're able to do that. And see, the next one is the sitemap generator. So if you don't have, you go on there and you do that little thing that I showed you earlier, right click, here's a few of the page source, look at all this HTML junk on there. So anyway, and you do the search for sitemap. If what you've found when you got there is that you don't have one, then you can go to this site, Sitemaps Generator, and it can help you generate one for your website. Okay, so that's basically what it's going to do. It's going to look into your website, figure out what all the pages are, and then create one for you. They're pretty cool. Now, the other one, again, you guys, I want to hit on this. Your other web pages. Here's what I would tell you. Most of them are going to have a lot of the search engine optimization tools on their site that have to do with their site. Okay, so in other words, when you have your profile on Zillow, you have your profile on realtor.com, you've gone in and captured your space on Google My Business, which a lot of you are familiar with, and you've heard that presentation that I've done before. Any of those spaces, you guys, they have their own tools available, and literally what it is a lot of times is just filling out all of the little spaces on each one of those different websites to make sure that all the information is available. Another one that has tons and tons of search engine optimization tools that it just pains me sometimes when I see the number of times that this is left undone is your Facebook business page. And I'm telling you, one of the things, the statistics, and I wish I could remember the exact number because I should have locked that one in, but it was when I was doing the research yesterday, it talked about the amount of business and how important social media has become for real estate agents throughout the country and driving business to them. Okay, capturing business, capturing leads, capturing clients. Okay, so that it's amazing, but to recognize that you haven't done everything that you can for your Facebook business page to make sure that it's optimized correctly. So okay, let's move on. Where to get help? Number one, like I say here, many brokers have IT web advisors, those computer nerds and geeks. So I have a little picture of one. Anyway, sorry. And you have me, I'm kind of a nerd and a geek myself. So I can help you with the stuff. And honestly, the internet, YouTube is the best I've found. You do a search for how to write a meta description, the best way to write a meta description for a website. You do that search on YouTube and you'll get lots and lots of great results, things that will show you exactly how to do it. Okay, not all of them are good. I'm not going to tell you that. They're not all good. There's a bunch of junk on YouTube, but you can filter through that pretty quickly. and find the ones that are probably going to give you the best information. So doing the searches for this stuff, you guys, is really one of the best ways to learn and to get the information that you may be looking for. So, but like I said, if you would like to reach out to me, I'd be more than happy to do a consult with you. I'm going to make sure that Cindy has this accessible so that she can set up one of those as an option where you can do you can actually schedule, get it all set up with her on her site so that we can actually, I can sit down with you, or we can do it remotely. Either way is fine with me, but the bottom line is we'll be able to take care of a lot of this stuff for you. So, but anyway, this has been good, you guys. Hopefully this has been good for you. So if I can, let me kind of open this up the floor. If any of you have any questions, let me go ahead and address those. Go ahead and go into the chat box there. I'll be looking, I'm paying attention. And if you don't, we're going to be good to go. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the attendance that you have had with all of these different presentations. I know that the folks that are on here this morning, I know that I've seen a lot of you in a lot of these presentations that we've done. So I appreciate your consistency and your desire to improve your own business by doing these things, by learning these things, by getting better and more and stronger with your business and your marketing and how you approach all this stuff. So, but I really do. I appreciate it. And I respect you for it.